Hi, good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us. My name's Melissa Graham. I'm the lead community scientist for Rubin Observatory, and today, in today's Rubin Science Assembly, we're going to help you get your Rubin Science platform account ready for Data Preview 1. So you should be seeing my screen. Can someone give me a thumbs up? Yeah, okay, that's good. I don't have the usual indicator that says I'm screen sharing, but I am, so that's good. All right, we're gonna sort of treat today kind of like an office hour drop in. Just start with some announcements, and then I'm gonna do a really brief presentation. This session is for people who've never used the Rubin Science platform before, or you maybe used it once, like a year ago or something like that, and need a refresher. If you're a regular Rubin Science platform user, or if your account is already set up, today probably doesn't have a lot for you. We're going to start with just showing you where to find the step-by-step instructions for getting a new account in the Rubin Science platform, linking additional identities, configuring your Git, all that kind of stuff. We'll show you where you can find those instructions. We'll show you what it looks like to log in to the Rubin Science platform so that you know when your account is set up. And then you can pick whatever is the thing that you need to do today, whether you need to get your new account, add additional identities, whatever, and we'll help you through it. So after that little presentation, you'll be able to try some things, and we'll be here on hand to help you with any troubles that come up. If you are just getting an account new, I'll be able to approve your petition for that account right away. And hopefully everyone leaves here able to access the Rubin Science platform, because having a Rubin Science platform account is necessary to access Rubin data. So you have to have that account to get to the Data Preview 1 data that is being released on Monday. So it's important. All right, so that's what we're doing today, and that's also why I'm recording at least the first part until we get to the triage and troubleshooting part. For announcements, Monday was Rubin Observatory First Look. You probably saw it. If you did miss it, rubinobservatory.org has it all. It has all the images that were released on Monday, some really exciting stuff. You can scroll down. I think this is the live stream of the press conference. You can watch it, you can interact with those Rubin First Look images and all the wonderful media stuff that the Education Public Outreach team made for Rubin First Look. It's a really fun time. Other announcements are that the Rubin Community Workshop 2025 is coming up at the end of July. It's fully hybrid. Virtual registration is free. In-person registration is still open. There is also still poster space, and the hotel deadline is July 4th. So if you haven't registered yet, now is the time to register for Rubin Community Workshop 2025. As I just mentioned, the first release of real data from Rubin Observatory, which is called Data Preview 1, it's being released on Monday. That data is based on the commissioning camera, which was on the camera back at the end of 2024. Today, we're not talking about what's in DP1. That's been covered in other sessions, but I did want to make the point that the Rubin First Look data that you all saw on Monday, that's from the big camera. It's from the LSSD Science camera, and that is not part of Data Preview 1. So DP1 it's a different data set. It was taken last year with a small little camera, and that's what you're getting on Monday. Also on Monday, we will start our annual Rubin Data Academy, which we've adjusted to coincide with the release of Data Preview 1, and we've set up the Academy to be basically a DP1 onboarding, take you from zero to interacting with the Rubin data over the course of the week. You'll find the schedule for the sessions are here in the Data Academy webpage. We've got a lot of repeated sessions. We've got them at multiple time zones so that people all around the world will have a chance to get to the session that they need in order to get started with DP1. There's no registration. You just pick the session that's most relevant to you. You join the Zoom at the time, and away we go. I'm going to put the link to these slides in the chat so you can get to all of those links instead of putting all the links in the chat. All right, two more announcements. The first is the usual fact that we do have a users committee. The Rubin Users Committee is there to advocate on your behalf. They solicit your feedback on the Rubin data products and services and tools, and they recommend improvements in their twice yearly reports to the Rubin Operations Director. This is all their contact information. They'd love to hear from users. What's working for you in the Rubin Science platform? What are your challenges? Can you do your science? All that kind of thing. The other announcement is that Link Frameworks, they also hold office hours for anyone who wants to use all of their wonderful software. And usually they're held right after this one. So there's the Zoom link. You can drop in on the link, folks, if any of these software packages are things that you use or are interested in. All right, that is most of our announcements. In this slide deck, there's also this nice, if you're new here, welcome slide that's got a lot of links all in one handy slide that you can get to, but we're going to actually cover a bunch of this today. All right, so for today, we want to get you started with the Rubin Science platform. And the first concept that I need to introduce when we're talking about Rubin Science platform and access to Rubin data is the Rubin data policy. The full document that describes the policy is available at ls.sd/rdo013. But basically, Rubin data rights holders are everyone, like scientists and students who are working at or enrolled in a US or Chilean institute. And also, if you're not in the US or Chile and you're in another country, there are many countries that have international in-kind programs, and you need to be a member of one of those teams in order to have Rubin data rights. This is important because only Rubin data rights holders can access the Rubin Science platform and access the data as well, and can only publish on the data. And by that I mean the proprietary data, which includes the annual data release data products, the images and catalogs, and all the prompt process images, as well as access to the Rubin Science platform. So you need data rights to access anything that we call proprietary. And I want to make the point also that alert packets are public and that the proprietary the proprietary period for images and catalogs does expire after 2 years. But when we're talking about data preview 1, it's brand new, it's proprietary, so is the Rubin Science platform. So you do have to have Rubin data rights in order to get a Rubin Science platform account and access it. Okay, we've said a lot about the Rubin Science platform, but not really what it is exactly, because data preview 1 will be relatively small, but in the future, the Rubin data releases are absolutely massive. It's not possible to download that data. So as scientists, you need a venue for next to the data analysis, and the Rubin Science platform is that venue. If you've used Jupyter Lab before, there's a Jupyter Lab environment. It's called the notebook aspect of the RSP. So you log in and it's like having a laptop in the cloud that has access to all of the data and has all of the Rubin software pre-installed, and you just do all your work from there. There's also a portal aspect if you are more of a user interface kind of person, and all of this is done just through your web browser. So you have an account in the RSP, you use your web browser to log in, and you do all your analysis in the RSP. There's also an API aspect, so if you are like a Topcat user or you know about PyVio, you can get yourself an access token and you can work remotely and access the data through the API using your authenticated access via the token. So the Rubin Science platform, it's got all the tools you need to query, visualize, and subset and analyze the LSST data archives. It's got that stable software environment. It's located next to the data, so you don't have to download anything. And it comes with storage space and compute resources and the remote access options that I mentioned. So that is why you need it. I want to start now and go over to our RSP documentation at rsp.lsst.io. So this is where you should start if you do not yet have a Rubin Science Platform account. You're going to come here to the sign up for an account page. We already talked about Rubin data rights, so that's good. The other thing that's important to understand about access to the Rubin Science platform is that you're not actually creating like a new identity. The Rubin Science platform uses one of your existing identities to authenticate your access. So either you're going to log in with your institution, or you can use your GitHub or your ORCID identity and log in with that. So you do have to have one of those things, either an institutional email, or we recommend GitHub. It works pretty seamlessly. So you might, if you don't have one of those, have to make one of those first. GitHub is free, so is ORCID, before you can then make your Rubin Science platform account. And of course, we have an acceptable use policy for the RSP, which I think I have a slide on. I thought I made a slide for it. Maybe I didn't. I can't find it. It's okay. Don't do bad things on the Rubin Science platform is the acceptable use policy. Yes, I did put a link. Let me repeat the link to the slides. There you go. All right, so that's where you find the step-by-step instructions for getting a new account. Once you have used one of your identities to get your account, we highly recommend that you link additional identities. So this means usually when you first get your Rubin Science Platform account, you would use your institutional identity to log in, and then it's very highly recommended to then log in and add another identity, usually GitHub or ORCID at that point. This means that if you ever move institutions and you lose that identity provider from your institutional access, you have another way to log in and that you're not locked out because you've lost, you usually move institutes, get a new job, whatever. So that is recommended, and that is right here to find those instructions. So if you're here today and you already have an RSP account, but you never took this step, highly recommend doing that. Once you can log in, and I think I will just show you that now. Once you have gone through the steps of getting an account in the RSP, all the steps actually are down here, very step by step. Every step that you see will be here. And I want to point out also that most of it is automated. It's all you up until step number 8, when Rubin staff have to verify that you have Rubin data rights. This process can take a few days. You're here now, so I will try to fast track those of you who are getting your accounts for the first time here today. And we will make sure that you get approved and that you leave here being able to log in. And once that process is done, logging into the RSP looks like this. You come here. That was the link to the intro slides, not the session slides. Oh, you want the link to, actually, no, those aren't necessarily done yet because that's the session for, I'm using slides that are for next week. What did you need from these? Actually, I think it's save. Yeah, these are view only, so you can have the link to the session slides. They're just not done yet. That's fine. Okay. So you set yourself up, you have your account, you're here, you're ready to log in. Data.lsst.cloud is the Rubin Science platform. You can either come to the top corner here and log in. I'm at the University of Washington. That's who I've used as my identity provider. So I can log on. Takes me to UW, where I can log into my University of Washington account. I'm logged in, and it brings me back to the RSP, and now I'm logged in and ready to go. So from here, I can enter the portal aspect. And if everything has worked, it will look like this. This is the main landing page for the portal. Today, we're not covering all the details of like, how do you query, how do you access data? Just want to show you that this is what it looks like once you can log in. If you can get to this page, you've logged in and you're done. If you're more of a Python user, logging into the notebook aspect, the Jupyter Lab looks like this. You choose your software version, always leave it at the recommended. If you're accessing data, no matter how large, do just choose the large one. The small A small server size is more for if you're logging in and you're like just editing files and not accessing data or analyzing data. So top two are always going to be your defaults, and you should be able to start up a server. If you've used other systems like Noir Labs Astro Data Lab or SciServer, it's a Jupyter Lab and it's going to look really similar. I'm just going to let that log me in. Did not open the landing page. Interesting. Interesting. This is not what it usually looks like when you log in, which is why I'm like, oh, all right. What has happened? This is what it usually should look like the first time you log in. Is you log in and this nice welcome page should be open for you right away. So if you, that's what it looks like to follow all the instructions and then be able to log in. If you are already at the stage where you have your account, but you wanted to do some other things like learn how to create user groups, configure your Git, or generate user tokens, I'm going to show you where to find those instructions now because that could be your activity for today. So if you're looking to configure your Git, using Git, that happens within the notebook aspect. You're configuring the notebook aspect. So right now I'm navigating through the left-hand side of our RSP documentation, and under notebooks and under configuring the notebook aspect, you will find a configuring Git and GitHub access. And this will take you through the steps so that you can use Git seamlessly and not have to enter your password every time. Question: what to do if on the first step our identity provider is not on the list? What should I look for? Yeah, not every institution participates in the in common system, which is how identity providers and institutes get on that list. There are lots that don't. And so in that case, you're going to use GitHub or Orchid. And if you don't have a GitHub account yet, you can get one pretty easily, and they are free. Yeah. Yeah. I'll type that in as well. Yeah, use GitHub or Orchid. Do try to use your institutional email address as your email, even if you're not using your institution as your identity provider. That helps us to verify data rights because then we know your institutional identity or like affiliation. But do use your institutional email if you can. Yeah. All right, so if you're a Git user, you'll find the instructions for configuring your Git here under notebooks, configuring and configuring the notebook aspect. If you like to work with others and you want to create user groups so that you can set permissions to files and directories in your home directory of the notebook aspect so that others can see them, if you're going to work together, it's here. Notebooks, configuring the notebook aspect, user managed groups is here, and it takes you through the process of setting up a group, adding your group members to it, and how to set configurations on directories and files so that you can share them with others. And if you are an API user, Topcat, PyVO, that kind of thing, and you want to set up remote access for setting up user tokens, let's see, I always start by over here in the left-hand menu coming to the API section. It tells you a little bit about what that is, what the API services are. It's basically the tap service is exposed to API. And then there's a section on authentication and access tokens. And I think this link, yes, leads to, it's under authentication. Yeah. So creating user tokens leads you here step by step. What to click on. You click on basically your profile, you create a user token, you can do the settings for the token, and then you get the token and you can go and use it with whatever application it is. If you've never used a token before, you probably don't need this information. This is just for people who already know they want to use the API. All right, that is the whirlwind tour of all of sort of the basic things that I imagine that you'll want to try taking action on today in order to get your Rubin Science platform account set up, so that you are ready to access Data Preview 1 data on Monday. So now we sort of head into basically a Q&A time. I'm going to stop the recording because we don't need to record everybody's questions.